fans, welcome back. As you can see, we have a new logo, a new intro, new location, new mic, new everything, because we are here to rediscover what fantasy golf is all about by bringing all of traditional fantasy, one and done, tiers, budget, and draft games all to one platform. Not only that, but have endless customization options for you and your friends to enjoy the great game of golf. To best support us, head over to our website, scrolling down to the beta section, type in your email. It'll gain access to our newsletter, live look at our beta testing phase. We hope we'll be live very soon. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to this video. Follow us on our socials. All that is in the description of this video. Now, it is time to talk golf. Regular season's over. Playoffs are here. FedEx Cup playoffs. 70 golfers made it through. Who is going to be the one to take first place in East Lake here in a few weeks? I don't know, but it all starts at the St. Jude at TPC Southwind this week. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump right in. Alrighty, folks, we are in Memphis, Tennessee at TPC Southwind for the St. Jude FedEx, whatever the heck they changed this thing like every other year. I don't know what the name of it is. I do think it is the FedEx St. Jude Championship. But we're going to keep this stupid simple. There is no reason at all to fade anyone. The weather looks absolutely sublime. It's a no-cut event, so they're all going out between a 3 or 4 hour span, and we don't see winds reach even 20 miles an hour, and they're pretty steady in the low single digits. There's nothing at all that suggests there will be any sort of wave advantage. So let's just jump right into course modeling, projections, all that fun stuff. Alrighty, folks, beer in hand. You know this is about to be a good one. Everybody take a sip. Cheers. Let's break this one down. Now, we've got 70 golfers this week. Unfortunately, we do not have any ownership projections as of right now. Be checking us out on X. We'll probably talk about that in a thread tomorrow once we get that. But we're going to start off with our course modeling. This course, TPC Southwind, is very easy to kind of look at. There's 3 major things we need to factor in. First off, driving accuracy. These are some of the thinner fairways. There are 11 holes that feature water, so you are going to have to be extremely accurate with most of that water coming off the tee. You got to be extremely accurate. The next thing is these are fairly small greens, so approach play is going to be extremely important. They have done some renovations across pretty much every single hole, I believe, this past year. So this is a completely new course. The greens used to be very small, but they're a little bit bigger. So maybe approach won't factor in as much as it usually does, but regardless, approach is going to be a big factor. And then I'm always a big fan of, you got to putt. If you're not putting, you're not going to win a tournament. I don't remember the last guy that lost 3 or 4 strokes putting across 4 rounds and actually won. It doesn't happen. So strokes gained putting is going to be extremely important. Breaking down my model, again, this is my strokes gained metrics. So we got 5 on strokes gained off the tee, 20 on approach, 15 on putting. Scroll down a little bit. It is a stacked field. So I kind of wanted to look at strokes to gained distribution. Guys that are, again, picking up total 2 or more strokes per round. I'm factoring that in this week. Again, driving accuracy is going to be very important. Distance, not so much, but I still like to look at it. Approach, greens in regulation, again, smaller greens. It's important that you're hitting the greens. Around the green is almost non-existent here, but because they did widen them a little bit, maybe that will come into play slightly. I doubt it, but still, greens in regulation is going to be really important. Putting on these surfaces, again, strokes gained putting on Bermuda. These are Bermuda greens. That's going to come into play. And then last but not least, I always like to put a little bit on course history. So we're looking at, again, TPC Southwind. So we got 10 on TPC Southwind. And what does that give us? None other than Scotty Scheffler at the top. No surprise at all. There's almost a 10-point gap between his score and who is in second, which is kind of shocking for me, but it's Sam Burns. He's, again, coming in pretty solid form. So no surprise there that he is up there. But I am still a little shocked that some of the other guys in the 10K range, higher nines, didn't, break through. Just looking at our model in general, some guys that kind of stand out. Again, Sam Burns, Matt Fitzpatrick has kind of bumped himself up. Ben Griffin playing great golf. He's up there. Somebody who's not playing great golf that is shockingly up here is Patrick Cantlay. Maybe he's just doing it with, what we're factoring in our model. He's been doing that well lately, but just hasn't been able to do other things well. He's up there. The first 2 we'll say three like huge guys that are outliers who I'm gonna have a significant interest in. Possibly, we don't really know. Griot, Berger, and Lowry. Those guys again being in the six and then the mid to high sevens. Those are they're way up here. That's a bit shocking. Tommy Fleetwood's up here. Henley's up here, so that's kind of fine. Harris English, a little bit of a standout. Again, there's 70 guys, so the distribution's going to be kind of all over the place. Colin, if he wouldn't change his caddy every other week, I'd have a lot more interest in. I just think he's a head case. Like he's mentally just screwing himself. I think still a great golfer, but he's up here. Could be an interesting play. And then I think there's kind of a slew after this of guys that I'm not surprised in, like Vic. Any course that around the green doesn't factor in at all, he's going to be kind of a good. He's going to have a good chance. So Vic's up here, Sep's up here. Akshay, who seems to continue to just kind of throw it away. I believe it's on Sundays. Again, he's putting together three good rounds every week, but just can't figure out the fourth. He's up here. Connors Ludwig. Some guys that are kind of falling down the board. Again, Xander's not as far up, and I believe that's based off driving accuracy. He's been terrible. That is a concern. But he's doing everything else fairly well, so I take that with a grain of salt. We'll kind of sort by salary here a bit, talk about the price buckets. Chris Goddard up, Kevin Hughes way up here for the 6K range. That's pretty solid. And then like JT's a little bit of a dip. Who's some other ones that are dipped down here quite a bit? I think that's basically it. To be quite frank. Keegan, this is a shocking one. I was shocked he's all the way down to 52. We'll kind of dive into that in a little bit, but he's way down there. Probably I'm not going to get to him much. He's one for next week. I think he finished second in whatever tournament is next week. The what is that? BMW Championship. He finished second there last year, so I'll have more interest for him next week. But this week probably not going to get there. These numbers are shocking, and everything else pretty much falls in line. So that is it for kind of our course modeling. Again, take that with a grain of salt. This is only 70 guys, no cut. Well, actually 69. I might as well mention Rory McIlroy has he's sitting this one out. Again, if the number two guy I think in the world is sitting out a playoff event, I think something is wrong. I think they need to do a major overhaul on how the playoffs are kind of operating. Oddly enough, again, we're on Rick Run Good, but Rick Gaiman dropped a thread the other day on X kind of detailing what he thinks it should look like, and I kind of almost fully agree. You should go check that out. But what we're going to do now, we're going to sort by salary. This is going to be a little slightly different because usually I'm kind of looking at ownership versus salary versus their course fit modeling, which, again, this is across the last 36 rounds. It's fairly recent. Usually this is going to kind of show us who's playing really well right now. And then that ties into the stats we're looking for. Really makes a good blend for, again, what we are looking for. But if we are sorting by salary, just right off the rip, I'm going to get to Scotty. I don't care what I have to do with the rest of my lineup. I'm going to be playing him in abundance. Xander and JT, they are really struggling in the accuracy department. I mean, at a course that has this much water, I would find it very hard to believe that they can stay dry for all 72 holes and somehow pick up what you probably need as a top 5, 10 at worst. I don't see it. Now Russell Henley, on the other hand, the last guy in the 10K range, I'm shocked by that. I would have expected his price tag to be like right here at 91, 92, maybe bump Colin up to 92, Henley at 91, Cantley at 9. But I mean, he's playing fabulous golf this year. He's been great in pretty much all facets. Again, I'm more factoring in accuracy. The only thing kind of going against him is driving distance, but everything else is fairly good. Again, approach is what we're looking for. Off the tee is no surprise. It's factoring in the distance too. Putting's been a little woeful lately, which is a bit of concern. All in all, I think he's fine. I'm probably not going to get to much of him this week just because the Scotty price tag it makes it tough to go like Scotty or Henley. You're really dipping into the 6Ks. The 6K range, we'll get to it in a little bit, is quite lackluster. Looking at the nines, Matt Fitzpatrick is going to be a guy I'm going to have significant interest in. Playing fantastic golf. He had a great swing over in Europe. You can just look right here again at the Open Championship and the Scottish, both T4s, and then comes back across the pond for the Wyndham for a T8. He is, again, look at this, just incredible. 4 straight top tens. That's coming in great form. Um, some shoddy history. At least he's made the cut the last. Well, I think he has to have made the cut the last 3 years. But again, in 2022, a T5 where he gains across the bag, he can do it. I'm a little concerned by these approach numbers, but he is one that I have significant interest in this week, just because he's coming in great form. I'm always going to have some interest in Tommy Fleetwood. I think he's going to win eventually. Is it going to be this week? I doubt it, but this would be the type of tournament that he does win. I mean, we saw, I think it was Will Zalatoris won here to get his first win a couple of years ago. Lucas Glover out of nowhere with a similar, I mean, he is like a Lucas Glover on steroids. Um, but that's a discussion for another day. I think he's the type of guy that could do really well here. And then the rest of the 9K range, I have interest in all of them, honestly. I don't want to spend an hour kind of breaking each one down, but Ludwig, if I remember correctly, he has only played here like once or twice, but I think they were very strong finishes. He's coming in okay form. The putter's been a little hit or miss, and the around the green game has been holding him back in some of these. But again, it's Scottish Open to T8 and a T23 at the Open Championship is pretty solid. No, he's only played her once for a T40 and around the green really crushed him. Um, so again, grain of salt, but great young golfer. I think he's got to turn it around. He's had a very weird year. I think he's perfectly fine. Vic, any place that doesn't really factor in around the green, he's going to be solid. Again, approach fantastic. Driving accuracy is what might hold him back, and that's what kind of scares me. The same thing with JT, Xander. Um, so a little bit scary, but these approach numbers we're factoring in approach quite heavily this week. So I like Vic. And then there's Colin, the absolute head case. I don't know what to do with him like at all right now. The putter's just been woeful. But again, the accuracy. I think he will be perfectly fine getting to the green, but I think once he gets to the green, he's going to absolutely fall apart. I just want to look and see what he's done at TPC Southwind. If he's putted well, maybe I'll have some interest. And 3, 2, 1, let's find out. I don't know. He has gained putting in, what is that, 4 of 6, T5 in 2022. I doubt this is going to happen again ever. Like, he usually gains an approach every single week. So, you know what, sign me up for some Colin. I don't have ownership. That does make this tough. I do not think he's going to come in too high. I think people are going to opt to go to Scotty and then come down and play in the 8s versus anyone in the 9s. It makes it kind of tough. But if you do go down to Xander, JT, Russell Henley, there will get some ownership. But I don't think people are going to Colin. I think the media buzz is going to deflate his ownership quite a bit. People go to Vic. People go to Matt Fitzpatrick. And another guy I like a lot. Oddly enough, I usually hate playing him, but Patrick Cantlay is slightly popping in my course fit modeling. So first thing I want to look at is, again, that driving accuracy. He's in the top 30. It's fine. Putting is woeful. That's what scares me, but the approach numbers are very solid. He does have good history here. I think he has, like, what is it? A couple top 10s, I want to say. And I don't think they're recent. That's the only issue. No, that's the complete opposite. He has plenty of top 10s. They also are recent. Again, we factor in top 12. We'll make the number. Again, cherry picking a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 8 finishes at TPC Southwind. Top 12. That's extremely solid. He clearly has the eye off the tee. Approach has been a little interesting, but again, still an overall gainer. Around the green and putting have been just fine. So sign me up for some Patrick Cantlay. I usually do not play him. I'm going to close these all out. My OCD's getting to me. We'll get to Griot in a bit. But yeah, Colin and Patrick Cantlay, if their ownership does come in quite low, I will probably get to them in abundance. But still, I'm probably going to get Scotty, and it's going to be really tough to get to them. So, again, grain of salt. We'll see once we start building some lineups. But that is it for the 9K range. 8K range is where I have a little bit more interest. Sam Burns, he is popping off the page for me. Absolutely no surprise. Again, top 15 in driving accuracy. He's a great putter. If I remember correctly, he has not been putting the last 2 weeks well at all. I think he's like, this is a complete outlier. The fact that he's even making the cut at the 3M and losing that much putting when he is perennially, like, he is one of the best putters. I think if you look from the century until now in terms of strokes gained putting, I think Sam Burns is first in all of PGA. I don't think he's going to lose back to back. on the putting surfaces again. Has he ever lost? Again, T5 last year, gained 7 in the putting category, and that's absolutely incredible. Doubt he's going to do this again. I mean, he's typically an incredible putter. Just look at all this green. So, factoring that in, I think he really could contend this week. I really like Stan Burns a ton. Um, Going down the board, Decky, defending champion. I'm probably not going to get there, but if you want to get there, by all means. He just doesn't really putt on Bermuda all that well. That scares me a good bit. Off the tee, he's been a little shoddy. Approach game's fine. Putting's been fine, but that's just for me. We're going to kind of fast. Again, only 70 guys, so we might kind of talk about everyone quite quickly, but I'm fine with Sepp. I think this is the type of course that fits him. Again, driving accuracy, solid approach, solid putting is going to be a little bit of an issue. I'm not getting it Keegan. Corey Connors is perfectly fine. The driving accuracy is there. Putting has been there, which is actually shocking. Same with approach. Harris English, this is the type of course for him. Rise is the type of course for him. Cam Young, this is kind of not the type of course for him. Again, he's a little wayward off the tee. But last week, we said the same thing. What did he do? He finally got his first career win. I think he won by like 7 strokes. Ben Griffin, this is a place for him. He usually is a fairly accurate driver. But again, putting is very good. Approach is very good. Off the tee, he's fine. Like, we're looking at these 3 things. It's kind of a tee to green type course. If he can just figure it out putting, he'll be fine. And again, he's 3rd over the last 36 in putting, so I'm cool. Probably not going to get Goddard up. Probably not going to get to Hall. I think the price tags are a little inflated. Now, the first guy that I think will be extremely highly owned is going to be Daniel Berger, and I do not think I'm going to be playing him. I think the putter scares the ever-living crap out of me. I want to see if he has much history here at this course. I think he does. In 2020, picked up a 3rd. Everything else is a little wonky. Hit or miss on the putting surface, that's for sure. But again, the approach numbers he's gained in 5 straight. It's okay. I'm just not going to get there. I cannot justify paying that price tag for him, especially when the putter is just that bad and he's sandwiched by a lot of good putters. I will backtrack on Hall. He has been an incredible putter this year. But in this field, approach has been a little shoddy, and he's kind of starting to, I think he's starting to fall off a little bit. I want to double make sure. Yeah, putting's been there. I mean, again, the approach, what carried him in a lot of these strong finishes, that's starting to regress a little bit back to his norm. But I don't think I'm gonna pay that price tag for Harry Hall. Looking at the 7s in total, this is gonna be a lot of guys, if I remember correctly, that do not drive it well off the tee. They're very inaccurate. I am probably not getting to any of these guys that have any poor accuracy stats. No on Bobby Mack, no on Spieth, no on Clark. Like, I think they're going to find the water one too many times. Clark is interesting, but again, I'm just not going to get there. JG Spawn, maybe I have some interest in. Again, he's been putting it well. He's fairly accurate. The approach numbers have not been the best. That's what scares me off of him, but I could see him popping for a good week. Really, the low 7s is where I'm going to live. Now, Shane Lowry, this is a very interesting one. I really got to look at this because, again, the putting has been atrocious. But I think the other numbers have me interested. Honestly, the putting hasn't been that atrocious. It was just at the U.S. Open. It completely tanked him over the last 36. So if you think of this as, what is this, 4, 8, 10, 14, 18, 22. Oh, no, 20, 24. I don't think that's factored in. 28, 32, 36. He's been almost a 0, a couple gainers, and then a 1 at the Open. Yeah, honestly, I think the 6 is just completely deflating him. Give me all Shane Lowry I can have. I think the numbers are incredibly solid for him. Again, 4th on approach, and driving accuracy is also 4th in the field. 4th in greens regulation. He's going to get to the green as long as he can stick them putts. I just don't think he's going to lose 6 on these greens. Quick double back real quick. Let's look at his history around these parts. Not good, Bob. Not the best. But again, he hasn't he deep 6'd on the putting surfaces last year. You know what? Screw it. I mean, it's 70 guys. What do you got to do? Give me all the Shane Lowry. I think the price tag's great. He's got, I think, top 5 equity. I'm not gonna say win equity, but compared to the guys around him, I think he's got some great top 5 equity. Um, and the 2 out of the 3 numbers really stand up. Again, putting scares me, but once we get down to this range, do we need him to win? No. Do we need the top 20? Probably. But yeah, I'm fine with Shane Lowry. I'm fine with Denny just because putting, if he gets hot, he'll be fantastic, and he's a fairly accurate driver. He putts well. Approach might be a little shaky, but I'm fine with him. And then working our way down, I think it's the low 7s that I have a lot of interest in. Now, Taylor Pendrith, no, not Taylor Pendrith, Akshay and Ricky. I think these are my 2 guys. I'm going to be living with Akshay and Ricky this week. If they let me down, so be it. But just right off the rip, they are above average. Ricky is incredibly strong in this field in driving accuracy. Then we go to putting. They're perfectly fine. Again, above average. Akshay is a better putter than this 36 leads on. Approach game. Akshay crushing it. That's why I lean a little bit towards Akshay. Ricky's approach numbers haven't been the best. Maybe there's like an outlier performance that's really sucking his numbers down. Let's see. No, he's like a middling. Again, he's a 0, we'll say, in approach. But for this field where there's a lot of strong approach guys, that's kind of how you get into these, into the playoffs. He doesn't rank that well, but I think he's perfectly fine. I think they have their strengths, and for the price tag, for how they're playing and where their strengths lie, I think they are perfectly fine for this week. And again, they model quite well. And then the 6s. It is not the best. I'm just going to be brutally honest. Nick Taylor is one that stands out, and I think it is based off of, again, he's a decent putter, and he's an accurate driver of the golf ball. And again, he's in the top 30 in approach. That's what we're kind of looking for. So he fits the mold. If I remember correctly, yep. Okay, it's Griot time. I'm probably going to have 100% Griot. I might play, I think it's 20. I'm going to probably play 20 lineups. I might have Griot in every single lineup. These numbers scream I can find success at this course. 24th in this field off the tee over the last 36. The approach, top 10 for 6,600. That's an absolute steal. Putting middling. His putting has been a lot better lately. I think he has found something. He's played here a ton. I get it. I know he lost last week, but he usually is a 0 or a complete team no putt. But again, finding 3 at the 3M Open. At the second place at the John Deere, he found 5. The U.S. Open, he found 3. It's kind of hit or miss. 7 at Houston, 4 at Valspar. Those are very solid numbers. He's found something on the putting surface, and I think he can beat this 33rd and do quite well. But the real thing is driving accuracy. He's 3rd in this field in driving accuracy and 7th in greens and regulation over the last 36 rounds. You're looking for a cheap guy. Griot is coming in good form. Almost everyone around him, like literally every one of these guys, I could click on their profiles. I'm pretty sure they missed the cut the last time they played. Griot, again, a 44th, which isn't the best, but I think it was more on the putting surface. But again, T20, I'm not going to take much in this Barracuda. That is tough, but T2, T19, T24, again, the T19 in a very strong field. That's more what I'm looking at, and I think he can do it. So I'm going to be all over Griot. Kevin Yu, I have some interest in. Nico, I have some interest in because they're coming in decent form. Yu mostly, well, they're both fairly accurate drivers. Yu's a decent putter. Approach is going to be shaky for you, whereas for Nico, the approach game is a lot better. But those guys I have some interest in. Tony Finau, if you're buying the name, he is incredibly cheap. Let's just in the 6s, if you're going off name value, again, Justin Rose, Sungjae, Siwoo, Tony Finau. Dietrich hasn't done anything since the beginning of the year, but this just feels like the type of place that he's going to pop off for whatever reason. He shows up at the most random times. And then pretty much everybody else I have no interest in except for Brian Campbell. I do not care off the tee. That's factoring in distance. He is definitely the shortest in this field by a mile. But he's fairly accurate. He putts halfway decent, and he's in the he's at the middling point on approach. I'd be fine with Brian Campbell if you want to completely punt. And then maybe Tom Hoagie. Again, his approach numbers are solid, but he's not accurate at all. Sorry, my back itches. Not accurate off the tee. Can't figure it out when he's teeing it up. So I'm probably not going to get to anyone other than those guys down in the 6s. Beer break. Cheers. So that is pretty much it for me. Again, I wish I had ownership. I'm just gonna scroll to the top and kind of point out guys that I think I'm not a genius when it comes to ownership. It's never been my forte. That I think are going to come in highly owned. I think Scotty's going to be one of the highest owned in the field. I do think Xander will pick up some ownership. I think Matt Fitzpatrick will pick up a ton of ownership. I think Vic will pick up a ton of ownership. I think Hideki, Sepp, and Burns will get their fair share of ownership, like middling to high teens. English and Rye will be heavily, heavily owned. Cam Young, I actually think will come in lower owned than expected because of Rye, English, and Ben Griffin. Ben Griffin's going to be highly owned. Berger's going to be highly owned. I could see Spawn in some world being highly owned. And then these guys down here, I think it's very hit or miss. I could see, I see Glover being highly owned. He has got some decent history, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he's got some good history. Akshay's got some good history. I think he'll get some ownership. Nick Taylor, because of the fact that he's coming in at least decent form. I'm going to click on Nick Taylor. This is the last guy I'm going to click on. He's coming in better form compared to others. I know he missed the cut at the Open, but that is the Open. Some guys just don't have a vibe for, the links style golf courses. But before that, T22 at the Scottish, T17 at the Travelers, T23 at the U.S. Open, T13 at the Canadian Open, 4th at Memorial. I mean, that's pretty solid. He didn't play a ton this year, it feels like. No, he didn't. But again, earlier in the year, won at the Sony. He's got a lot of top 10s. I think he's got some top 10, top 20 equity that could carry him a long way. He's coming in again, decent form. So I think he's going to get some ownership. I think Rose will get a little bit of ownership. I think for some reason Ryan Gerard is going to get a little bit of ownership. I think Rio is going to be like top 5 in ownership, which a lot of people might end up fading, and then that might be it. Yeah, I think that is it for highly owned guys. Last bit I'm going to talk about is some bets. I've got to probably reload all of this. No, it left it open. I am so proud of you, DraftKings. Thank you so very much. First one we got to look at. I love to look at the matchups. I think it's 18-hole matchups. Where are you? Here it is. I'm taking Matt Fitzpatrick minus 110 over JT. Let's just look at them real quick because I think they're both up here in price. Again, JT has a lot of woes off the tee in accuracy. Hopefully he can really mess it up around 1. What scares me is, again, he could break the course record at any given day. Would not be shocked in the slightest. But again, his woes off the tee could play a major factor. If he is finding the water, it's going to be tough, very tough for him to keep up, especially with this field. Whereas Matt Fitzpatrick is a little bit more accurate off the tee. They've both been great putters, but off the tee, again, I'm leaning Fitzpatrick a lot heavier. And then his approach game's been a little bit better. I just think he's coming in slightly better form, and he's definitely a better putter on Bermuda compared to JT. I'm leaning that direction. So give me wrong tag. Again, give me Matt Fitzpatrick minus 110 over JT. The next one I am looking at is top finish, and I think this. Again, I've talked a lot about Sam Burns. But again, I feel like plus 130 with how he models for just the top 20 is incredible value. I feel like a lot of these guys up here. This tournament really does scream the higher end guys are going to prevail. I could see a lot of these guys finishing in the top 20, but again, Sam Burns with how he's playing, where his strengths lie, I think he's a really good top 20 bet. I'm just going to point this out. This makes no sense at all. And that's why I think Aaron Rye could also be one of the highest owned. Why is he plus 105 over the likes of Cantlay, Vic, Hideki, Burns, Keegan, like all these guys? Absolute nonsense. That's wild to me. Crazy. Had to point it out. So that's my second bet, and then I always like to give some of my top lines, straight up bets that I'm going to. Again, I believe it was, where is he? Cantlay plus 35 to 1. I'm looking at Burns 40 to 1. I'm looking at, was it Harris English? Maybe it wasn't Harris English. No, it wasn't. Shane Lowry 50 to 1. Akshay 65. Akshay 65. Yes, Akshay 65 to 1. Where are you? And then all the way down here, Grio. You know, wing and a prayer. Daddy's going to do it in this field, especially with Scotty. But plus 110, or plus 11,000 or 110 to 1. I'm fine with Grio. Again, that is it for me this week. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the video. Head over to our website. Sign up for our beta testing phase. That should be live here soon. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you next time.